Have audio and waiting for the switch, the thing to come on, the Glavin and the bling and the blah.
And the thing, and the thing,
There
and the
we
thing.
go. And back to audio hijack and Dementia Radio and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the FuMPCast. Luke Ski said he would be joining us, but he also said he'd be driving to pick up Insane Ian, so he may be in between ability to join us at the moment. So we figured we'll start and he'll join us eventually at some point. But we do have Jeff Whitmire on the show. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
And we will have a pre-recorded interview with Via Bella coming up later in the show. And my dog is being a pest. Say hi, Jax. Look, say hi.
Hi, Jax.
There. See?
Aww.
There. See? Yeah, see, everyone thinks you're cute. Yes. So look how adorable this puppy is.
Oh, he's
There.
adorable.
Now,
oh, my gosh.
Yes. Now, you can I put you down now so I can do the show? No, right? Yeah, okay. No. All right, get down.
Let him co-host.
If he would bark into the mic, I might, but he's... So, anyway...
If Luke's not here, he can be a stand-in.
He can be Luke, yeah. He can be a stand-in
Yeah, he can be
Luke.
Luke, yeah.
Dye his hair blue. All right. Let's do the catch-up thing.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what? Oh, he's right.
So, while we wait for Luke, I will just say that this past weekend, we got our first real snowstorm in about 2 or 3 years. We got like 8 or 9 inches of snow. And then like 2 days later, we got torrential rain and washed it all away. And I was legitimately concerned that with the ground being that wet and that much water and that much melting snow that we were going to get water in the basement here. And knock on wood, didn't happen. Because I dealt with that at the previous house, and I just did not want to go through that again. And I was like just looking outside at all the rain and all the melting snow, and I'm like, no, please, no. But thankfully, it's been fine. It's been dry. We're good. I'm my first week off as a full-time musician. I'm enjoying it. And I'm actually being incredibly productive. I'm getting a lot done, which I'm enjoying and I'm liking. And I wish it just made enough money to pay my bills so I could keep doing this. But that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. And then in other news, I'm pretty sure I told this story on the show previously, but last August, some douchebag opened a checking account and a credit card in my name with Wells Fargo. Now, I have never banked with Wells Fargo, ever. And so, it clearly wasn't me. This guy lives somewhere in Queens. His signature looks nothing like mine. And he used a driver's license with a fraudulent number. So, clearly not me. So, I have been battling this for ever since, end of August when it first happened. And I filed a fraud report with them after going into the branch because I couldn't close the account over the phone because, they asked me for my mother's maiden name and I gave it to them and they said, that doesn't match the one on the account. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. You see the pattern here? But no. So I went into the branch, opened a fraud account. And 3 weeks later, got a reply saying, good news, we found no fraud on the account. All these transactions are fine. And I went, no, the account is the fraud. So I called Wells Fargo back and they said, oh, you want our identity theft department. I'm like, oh, that's separate. Okay, fine. Give me the identity theft department. And I opened an identity theft case. And then a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call saying, good news, because you walked into Wells Fargo with a utility bill proving your identity, we've been able to close your identity theft case. And I went, I did no such thing. That wasn't me. That was the guy who opened the account who I'm trying to close. So the guy on the phone was just completely flustered when I told him that. He's like, you're going to have to go into a branch. And I'm like, clearly. So I went back into the branch. Actually, at that point, I filed a police report. And then I went into the branch, police report in hand, and met with the same banker I met with the first time. And he called the corporate office and opened a corporate fraud case. And he said that this would be faster and more thorough. And it wasn't faster and it wasn't any more thorough. And a couple of weeks later, I got another letter in the mail saying, good news, we found no fraud on the account. So at that point, I filed a complaint with the CFMG? Crap, I forget what it is. It's a consumer finance something. It's consumerfinance.gov is the website. It's a government organization that is partly responsible for regulating banks, and they take their complaints very seriously. So I filed a complaint in December, and just right before the show, I got a response from Wells Fargo saying they looked over their records and they found that they acted correctly and there's no fraud. So now I got to find a lawyer because clearly they're not going to close these accounts without a court order to do so. So CPFB, thank you, Brett. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. So that's been my life. This is so much fun.
There's no fraud on the fraud account.
There's no fraud on the fraud account.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
If I was more vindictive, I'd write a song about them, but it would just be like angry. It wouldn't be funny. It would just be angry.
Right.
You know? So,
but that could end up being funny.
It's true. It could. So if anyone knows an identity theft lawyer in New Jersey, send them my way. I've got a couple of people asking around already. Because I just one more thing to deal with. I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. I'm like, I really thought filing that complaint would be the end of it. I really thought someone would go in and go, hey, the address on the credit card doesn't match this guy's address. Maybe it's not the same guy. Ooh, maybe. Oh, his signature.
Also, it's not a real driver's license number.
Right.
Like, that should be a tip-off. That's a red flag. Right?
Yeah, that's a felony. Like, opening a bank account with a fraud ID is a felony. Like, arrest this fucker. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm dealing with, like, low-level employees who are paid by the hour and just don't care. And they're just going through the motions to get through their day and just, like... So, anyway.
What a mess. Holy cow.
So what have you been up to, Jeff?
Not a whole lot. Just a lot of life stuff going on right now. Just taking care of things. I had a little delay in getting music done because of computer issues, a very unreliable computer, and just had a bunch of life things and medical things hitting and financial things, but I was determined. I've never, since I started doing horror music, I've always released a song on Christmas Day. I was getting panicked, and I know, like, even Devo, you messaged me. You're like, "Do you have a Christmas song?" And I'm like, "Yeah, 2. I just can't do them." But yeah, so I had to kind of wing it, and I had an idea for Black Christmas to Last Christmas. The classic Black Christmas, like one of the first, slasher movies. And, I had it, but I was like, I think I'm going to mix this myself. And of course I was endlessly unhappy with it, and nothing sounded right for, like a week. And I'm like, I'm running out of time. And it finally got to where I was like, yeah, I liked it. And I dropped it on Christmas, and it went really well, and people loved it. I'm like, okay, all right. That was cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. I saw that video come up on my feed, and I'm like, ooh, nice.
Yeah, that was fun. And then I had I'm a big fan of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. especially 2, because it's really, really just great 80s cheesy horror goodness. It spends the first half of the movie literally doing flashbacks until we get to Ricky, the main character. And I had an idea for it's Ricky for It's Tricky, from Run DMC. And I kept like adding stuff and adding horror. I think the vocal tracks had like 11 on them, and I put that together, and I was really happy. I brought people in to do. I was like, we need cheerleaders for this, because I had the middle section was It's Ricky from Mickey, so it's Ricky, you're so fine. Um, but yeah, that was cool, and that was going really well. So I was like, I really want the actor to see this, because I grew up with this movie. This is an 87 movie, 1987. I wanted the actor to see it because he's become such an iconic character, like especially in the horror world. It's like the famous gif, the garbage day, where he shoots the guy. And I was like, I wanted to see him, and someone told me, they're like, well, here's a way you can. And I sent him 2 days ago. I sent him out the YouTube link, and I told him, I said, I am a huge fan of yours. I love horror. I love this movie. And late last night, I got a message back from him, and he said he actually really liked the song, and he's listened to it multiple times. And I was like, he's like, you just made a fan. I'm like, I made a fan.
That's awesome.
I'm a fan of yours. That was cool.
Nice. And we have a Luke ski.
We have a Luke.
Hi.
Hello.
What have I missed?
We're just doing the catch-up thing. You're just in time. What have you been up to?
Well, that thing in every episode of the podcast where we check on teasing for songs next week, and inevitably we get to a part where something fairly often will happen where Tuesday's song is not yet posted.
Right.
Well, just now, I sent a file of an edited lead vocal to Kyle so that he can finish up the track so that Tuesday's song will in fact be posted. So,
yay!
Yes. So that is the situation in the immediate sense of things. But yeah, other than that, just I had to work literally 8 days in a row at my day job, which was a pain in the ass. Especially after, getting to have 11 or 12 days without having to work it at all, and being out seeing my family. So now it's basically me trying to cram into whatever, nooks and crannies of my day-to-day life where I can work on things while I'm doing my job, and or work things into either my lunch break or times that technically aren't my lunch break, but I'm sneaking it into my work day anyway, where I get things accomplished for either my personal life or the plans I have for this weekend, or for getting things done for MarsCon. And part of me it kind of has like this asterisk over my MarsCon thing, because this year's MarsCon actually has a few extra things I don't normally have to do due to who the guest of honor is. And I need to make sure I don't forget about those things because they're important. Because, contracts have been signed saying that these things will be supplied. So I need to make sure I don't forget about those extra things that aren't on my master MarsCon complete to-do list. I actually made version 2 of the to-do list, which basically was editing it down, taking off some things that haven't been part of MarsCon for a few years, just to kind of, get it from 5 sheets down to 4 sheets. But whoops, phone dropped there. But Kalani is coming. She
cool.
She got us just because it was simpler for her to, buy the tickets and have me pay her back. She got us the plane tickets. She made the hotel reservation. She is even going to get a rental car because she's just that kind of person. So that will be helpful to me. She needs to. Last time I checked with her, she still needed to go to the convention website and buy her badge because she's not a official, Dementia Track volunteer per se. So. Right. So she's just going to be attending and checking stuff out. So yeah. And, as we'll get into next week's show, Kyle talked me into making a song. So So I put out a thing like both Kyle and Devo have done before, saying, "Hey, give me a title for a song," and then I, amongst many, I mean, I had a whole, like, I wrote down in my notebook like some of my top favorites of suggested song titles, and there were, like a good 25 of them I could have picked, out of the like 75 to 100 I think I got, but I'm one seemed to speak to both me and Kyle. That's like, yeah, we got to go with that one. So
there's always one that jumps out. Like it either makes me laugh, or I'm like, oh, there's so much I can do with that, or something. There's always one that jumps out at me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there were several that jumped out at me, and that I thought like, oh, these are all really good premises, just within the title for what a song could be. But this one, I don't know. I don't want to spoil a surprise, so I'll just wait till next week to talk about it.
Sure.
People who have been listening to, all three of the podcasts I do, will, anyway, the point. I can't think of anything else really to report on, so we can get back to the rest of the show. Oh, other than the fact that I'm driving so that I can head out to LAX and pick up Mr. Insane Ian, who is coming to hang out for the weekend to be a part of my forthcoming 50th birthday hanging out activities. So there you go.
Awesome. All right, Jeff.
Yes.
Give us a quick intro to this song, and we will give it a listen.
Quick side thing. I just noticed that Brett Glass says he had a Christmas horror song, and I would love to hear that.
Oh, okay.
I'm watching the Trish thing. So yeah, Brett Glass, if you have a Christmas horror song, yeah, put that out. This song is I was putting together Stabby Road, and the one thing I was missing is a song about my favorite horror movie of all time, which is Train to Busan, a Korean zombie film, is my absolute favorite movie. And I said I could not put out my first album without a song about the movie. So this is actually the last song I recorded for Stabby Road, and it's a parody of Send Me On My Way by Rusted Root.
Here is Get Me Off the Train by Jeff Whitmire.
To Busan. Off the train. Off the train. A sick young girl with symptoms bad tries some train food. Now she chews through someone. Off the train. Off the train. Out of my way, gotta run. Off the train. Off the train. Well, guess we've got to make a little stand, 'cause they will know they kill. Hide in the stall, we will. Being some food's not the dinner plan, so bust some skulls, we'll take them all. Get me off the train, off the train. Get me off the train, off the train. Before they eat my brains, get me off this train. This really is a pain, off the train. Should've took a plane, off the train. Get me off this train. Mm-hmm. Off the train. Woo! I decide to stick like hell to the ones off the train, off the train. Batting heads like their home runs, then crawling up on the luggage stand. Stay real quiet though, pray that there ain't no sun. Off the train, off the train. We'll get away, oh here they come. Well, just a swift stomp on us so the can will soon be mauled, no doubt. We better haul ass out. My new pal just went all spittle hand.
Why am I crying during a zombie movie?
I always tell people how sad that movie is, and they're like, "How can a zombie movie be sad?" I'm like, "Just watch it. Trust me, you'll know."
The movie is so good. It's so impressive.
It blew me away. I mean, I love zombie films to begin with. As it is, 28 Days Later was my favorite movie for a long time.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. But I remember putting, Train to Busan came out in 2016. And I remember putting it on just casually, like, yeah, I'm going to check this out like I normally do. And it just hits so hard. The second half of it.
Yeah, I forget how I heard of this movie, but it was one of these things where people, I think people on Reddit were talking about it. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I think I'm going to have to check that out. And just amazing film. Just top to bottom, amazing film.
They showed it on Joe Bob Briggs showed it on Last Drive-In, and he takes breaks during the movie to talk about it and everything. And just before the climax, the final thing, because there's already a lot of emotional hits in the second half of the film, because they do an awesome job of setting up the characters and making them extremely likable. A lot of characters.
Yeah.
So when bad things start happening, it hits. But I remember Joe Bob broke in. He said, "Now we're going to get to the ending, and this is not the ending you want, but it's the ending we need." And I was like, "That's
it's the ending you deserve."
Yes, and I've had people tell me they hate the movie because of the ending. I'm like, that's why I love the movie, because if it makes you that much of a wreck, it's done its job.
Yeah. The Koreans don't like happy endings, do they?
They don't. No, actually, a lot of my favorite movies are Korean, and I watched it with my two oldest daughters, and we were all a wreck, because it is definitely a daddy-daughter storyline, and then I actually watched it with my two younger kids when they were like 4 and 8, and because I do show my kids horror, I always know what I'm showing them, but I was like, I know they can do this one. The gore is not too extreme. There's nothing too touchy, and even they got to the end, and I have a video footage. I actually filmed them secretly on the ending, and you could see even my 4-year-old going, "Oh no, oh that's not gonna, oh no."
Oh, that's great. So, in making the parody, what were you trying to do?
I was really, I knew that I wanted to put a Train to Busan song on the album because it's a horror movie album. I'm clearly a horror fan. I've been all my life, and so I love all the classics, and I've covered a lot of the classics. But I knew it had to have a Train to Busan song. I didn't know what I was going to use for it, and it just like, we could all probably relate. I was just like driving one day, and Send Me On My Way came on. And I've always loved that song. I've always thought it was a fun song, really works on so many levels. And I just started going, get me off this train. And I was like, that's the one I want to use. I think that's a good choice for it. So, Austin, who produced a big chunk of Stabby Road, I said, let's do this one. He came up with the track. And I really wanted it to be... I knew I was going to hit on the rough spots. I knew I was going to have to touch on the fact that it is so sad, but I wanted it, at least the process of getting it there, to be bouncy and upbeat and fun, because the movie is about, it is a fun movie. It's a fun zombie film.
Yes.
But I knew I was going to have to, obviously reference the fact that most people don't get to the end of that movie with dry eyes. So.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it is a bouncy, upbeat song about a very sad zombie film. And it's kind of become what I do. I like to, because most of the films I'm covering are in some form or another dark, or they're horror movies, so they're about dark subjects. So I always try and find like the least likely song to cover it. That's great. Yeah, so great song, great job. Who's singing the "Off the Train" part?
That's me.
That is
all.
you.
All the vocals are me. Yeah, and
it doesn't sound like you. That's all. I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, I did that. I think he probably based it a bit to get that. And then when we get to the "Choo Choo," that was it's a funny thing that Two Sleeps will often say too, is I I always like to try and find something additional to put in the song, something that's not in the original so when they do that, ooh, ooh, I was like, choo choo.
Yeah.
And I did the harms, and at first I thought, well, those harms, no, they weren't right. And I went back and listened to it. I'm like, that kind of sounds like a train whistle. I'm like, I like that. So, and Austin did say, he's like, I feel like we need, zombie sounds. So I actually went and pulled up, oh dear me, I've got to go watch my favorite movie again.
Right.
And I went back, because I always watch the movie before I write a song because I want it fresh in my head.
Yeah,
and
I do
write down, I was like, okay, what am I going to use for a joke? And so I'd already just watched it, but I went back and I was like, let's find a clip. So all the zombie sounds in the song are from the movie.
Cool.
They're actually from the movie.
Yeah, when I saw this was posted, I was like, all right, well, now I have to watch Train to Busan again. So I watched it the other day. So it's fresh in my head, too.
Yeah. Oh, I've had people tell me, too, that they haven't heard. I always like to warn people. I spoil most of the movies I do songs about. I really do. I'm bad at
It's
that.
hard not to.
It's hard not to, and it's like Midsummer completely spoiled that.
Yeah.
But I've had people tell Midsummer Nights, but I've had people tell me they've gone and watched the movie because of the song, and I'm like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. And someone just told me they went and watched, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 because they wanted to know what that whole umbrella thing was that happened in there. And
See,
like,
I haven't
cool.
seen Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 since it came out. I mean, I know I've seen it because when I was in high school, I worked in a video store and I went alphabetically through the horror section just because I got free rentals. And I made it all the way to the end before I quit. I think there were like 5 or 6 movies left before I went off to college. So I know I got through the S's, and I know Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 was in there. So I know I've seen it.
There's a few Z's that you missed. You missed some Fulci zombie movies.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, so I'll have to go back and watch that now too. Damn it, Jeff! You're making me watch all these good movies.
I know that this isn't a horror movie per se, but have you guys both seen Violent Night?
Yes.
Yes.
Great film.
Man, that movie is
David
Harbour
so good. Can
good.
do no wrong. Yeah, David Harbour's amazing.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't seen it, the basic premise is David Harbour from Stranger Things plays the actual real Santa Claus, who ends up delivering presents to a house while there's basically a group of gangsters with Uzis and weapons and stuff attacking this rich person's house, and then he basically doing a semi diehard kind of thing, trying to save the family. And at one point, the little kid in the family ends up in the attic and basically creates her own Home Alone stuff. So it's like the original Home Alone. I mean, it's like, all this cartoony violence and stuff, but this is basically like, what if some kid set up stuff like that, but we actually saw the real physical outcomes of that kind of messed up shit happening to somebody within this movie. And it's really great. And it's heartwarming too. It's awesome.
It is. Yeah. There's a lot of heart. It's also like the Die Hard film that nobody can argue it's not a Christmas movie.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
This one absolutely is a Christmas movie. It's got Santa Claus in it. What else do you need?
Yes.
And I really hope they make a sequel to that.
I heard they likely are. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the guy who directed it is Norwegian, and he did the Dead Snow movies. And if you've never watched that,
ooh, yes,
Tommy Wirkola. He did Dead Snow 1 and 2, and he also did a movie called The Trip, Norwegian film, which is also amazing.
That one I haven't seen, but I have seen Dead Snow. Those are movies are fantastic.
Those are same director. Yeah, but I've heard rumors that there's likely going to be a sequel, so that'll be cool.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, Brett, if you want me to do harmonies for your song, you just let me know. I'm watching the Twitch chat here, but yeah, I'll do harmonies. Fire Blast Studios. I saw the trailer for the Sharks on the Plane movie, and that is a day one movie for me. If you haven't seen the trailer, it's called No Way Up, I think it is, and it's about if you know me, I love my shark movies. A plane crashes into the ocean, and there's sharks down there. So people are trapped in a plane at the bottom of the ocean with sharks.
Oh, I have seen the trailer for that. Yes,
and it looks so good.
Have you seen the trailer for Bad CGI Shark?
I know the guys. I have autographed posters from them.
Okay.
I wish I could find them. Actually, I recommend that movie. If you've never seen it, anybody that creates art should watch that movie.
I've heard
more
that.
than what you
yes,
think.
I have.
Yes,
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's really good.
If you're middle aged, if you're in your 40s, 50s, and you're like, "Oh, I'm too old to do art," because we're there, and I feel it. And actually, that at a point where I was like, "Why am I doing this?" I don't make money from it. It's late nights and a lot of time away. And I watched that movie, and it was a kick in my butt. I went back and and I've told them that, and they're like, "Really?" But yeah, the guys that made it. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. I'm upset I'm not in that movie. I should be in that movie.
The whole premise of that movie, I don't want to give too much away, but the premise of that movie is people that wanted to create art. They wanted to make a movie called Sharks Out of Water. And then they decided to take this one of them, especially the brother, decided to take the safe route and got a job and everything. And the other ones never lost the dream, and they're in their 40s, and they're like, we can still do this. And it's actually a really it's got a powerful message to it with a lot of crazy CGI shark stuff.
I gotta see that.
Yeah, they sent me when I saw it, I bought the shirt, I bought the DVD, I was raving about it. They actually sent me signed posters, so I have signed bad CGI
nice.
shark posters.
So Train to Busan is awesome. Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yes, definitely watch it.
And
if you watch one Zombie on a Train movie this year, make it that one.
Yes. Are there more?
I don't know. Probably, but
wasn't there
Asylum had to at least done one.
There was a Resident Evil game that took place on a train. Did they make a movie about that one?
I don't know if they made a movie about that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't seen all the Resident Evils. I've really slacked. I gotta get. I started to, but I think
I have, and I enjoyed them. I think I know I'm in the minority there, but I do like them.
No, I do like the ones I've seen. I definitely have. It's just I never got back to finish the series.
Yeah, I just like Mila Jovovich too. She's great.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
I met her at a con. She was great.
Oh, did you? Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Speaking of cons, keep your eyes peeled. I don't know what I can announce yet, but I do have a gig coming up this year at a con in the state. That's a horror convention. So hopefully soon I'll be able to say more about that. I don't know much more. I'm excited to see who the other guests are. Because it'll be horror guests, and I'm like geeking out. But just keep an eye on. Also, on my YouTube channel, Jeff Whitmire 47 is where I post all my latest stuff. And my Bandcamp, jeffwhitmire.bandcamp.com, is where you can buy my album, my first horror movie album, Stabby Road, on physical and digital. And the plan is shortly I'm going to be making plans to make my second horror movie album, which I'd like to get out this year, and that's called Direct to Video. It was Direct to Video, but I mentioned it was my second horror movie album. Someone said you got to do the number 2.
Got to do the number 2, yeah.
You got to do 2, so it's going to be Direct number 2 video, and that's in the works right now. So
awesome. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Are you going to stick around for the rest of the show, or are you taking off?
I will. Yes, I'll stick around.
All righty, let's do some news.
This is the FuMP.
But it isn't too hard. I've got the Liar's Clue and the Vegas parody, and some video game versions I can play on my screen. 24 and busters with all like those properties, and this got the Wise Clue, because I give the charities. Of course I have the movie and the documentary too, and this is for everyone who says I don't have a clue.
And in the end, when I was facing a fate worse than death, she became a wraith of joy and rescued me and set us free. Not bad for the first season of Ballet McGee.
I mean, when it comes down to it, you kids are jiggy, crunk, trill, funky fresh, and stupid deaf.
No.
Yeah.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Now don't you bury that gauge, bury that gauge at twilight, boy.
40.
for funny music news. Something, something, something.
In the news, the Emmys were last week, and Weird, the Al Yankovic story, was nominated for 8 of them, and it won 2 of them. So congratulations to Al and the team. It won the Emmy for Outstanding Television Movie, and it also won the Emmy for Outstanding Music Composition for a Limited or Anthology Series, Movie, or Special.
Woo!
Basically the score. So congratulations. It was also nominated for casting, picture editing, the song Now You Know, sound mixing, writing, and Daniel Radcliffe was nominated for lead actor. But so congratulations, Al, and the rest of the team. Awesome work.
Who the hell beat Daniel Radcliffe?
I don't know.
Daniel was robbed.
Yeah. And that's all the news I got. And you guys got anything else before tour dates?
I'm very close to announcing MarsCon stuff, and hopefully the fundraiser will be available by next week's FuMPCast episode. We'll see how things pan out because Brenda's still working on editing the sound files. So yeah.
All right. And I am very close to having the FuMP Volume 102 done, so I'm not quite ready to announce yet, but it should be up in the next couple of days.
Although I should at least remind people that registration, pre-reg for MarsCon, ends on January 31st, and right now it's $55 for the weekend. So, if you need to budget for that to make that happen, mark that on your calendar or whatever. That if you want to save at least $15. You can pre-reg. So there you go.
All right. That's marscon.org, right?
Yep.
All right. Tour dates. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. On Sundays online, 2 Sleeps. Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. And everything else is Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. He will be appearing on the 12th in Loleta, California, on the 13th in Lakeport, California, on the 17th in San Jose, California, and on the 20th in Castro Valley, California. And that's it for tour dates. Birthdays. Coming up on the 14th, that guy, the great Luke Ski. Happy birthday, Luke.
What?
Happy 21st birthday, Luke.
Oh,
yeah.
You can drink now.
Yeah, you can drink now. That'll be cool.
But now I'm a grown-up, so I can't buy any more action figures or video games.
Aw.
Sure you can. I got Funko Pops for Christmas. My daughter got me 3 horror Funko Pops: Hannibal Lecter, Leprechaun, and Prom Carrie with the blood and everything.
Nice.
I was like, "Oh, you're the best daughter ever." I'm like, "These are so cool." And I remember someone in the family going, "What do you do with them?" I'm like, "You put them up and you display them, and you go, I've got these, and it's cool."
I don't have any
hard
fun
to explain.
I don't have any Funko Pops, but I do have a Flurkin. This is a
that's cool.
This is a McDonald's Happy Meal toy that I got a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had to have
I don't know if you can read my shirt. Can you read my shirt?
My cat is a Flurkin. Nice. All right. Second song of the week is the debut of Via Bella here on the FuMP. This is MST3 cover Rocket Man.
She packed my bags last night, pre-flight.
Yeah, it turns out the TSA frowns on packing your bags during the flight.
0 hour, 9 a.m.
I'm pretty sure that 0 hour is midnight.
And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then.
By then. Right.
I miss the earth so much. I miss my wife.
Fair enough.
It's lonely out in space on such a timeless flight.
You do realize that if you were indeed outside of time, you wouldn't experience things like loneliness, right?
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. The touchdown bring me round again to find another man and I'm at home. Oh no, no, no. I'm a rocket man. A rocket man burning out his fuse up there alone.
Burning all his fuel with helmet on?
Mars ain't the kind of place to raise kids.
Splug.
In fact, it's cold as hell.
Last I checked, hell was the really, really hot place.
And there's no one there to raise them. If you did.
If you did what exactly? Have kids on Mars? Aren't you already there to raise them? Was this an entirely speculative observation?
All the science I don't understand.
But you just got done telling us you were a rocket man.
It's just my job 5 days a week.
So what, you get the weekends off? I mean, what happened to that timeless flight and missing the Earth and your wife and it was gonna be a long, long time?
Rocket man, I'm a rocket man.
Okay, so you ran out of lyrics and you thought you could get away with just singing the title of the song until the chorus came around again? Really?
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. The touchdown ringing me right again to find nothing manner than I'm at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man. Rocket man, burning out of fuse up there alone.
Burning all the shoes I've ever owned?
Burning out his fuse up here alone.
Burning out his fuse up here alone.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I did.
Hey, wait. You know that's not how fuses work, right? They just keep electronics from overheating. Or, oh my god, are you thinking about a fuse like in a Roadrunner cartoon? You know, the big red rocket with the long wick on the end? Dear Lord, is that really how you think rockets work?
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. The touchdown bringing me round again to find nothing man than I'm at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man. A rocket man burning out his fuse up there alone.
That can't be right.
Burning out his fuse up there alone.
Burning all the fuel I've ever known?
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
Burning off the fuse of ethanol.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
Burning all my pubes for pheromones?
I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
Burning all of Tucson's baritones.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
News of Avalon? Jews in Babylon? Booze and methadone? Chartreuse Aragorn? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am here with Rand and Aaron Bellavia of Via Bella. I'm going to mix those up. I know it.
I have an anecdote about that with a distance.
So welcome to the show. And tell us about this song you posted.
Yeah, I've never been someone who does parody songs. That's just never been something I've been good at or whatever. And so I've always written original songs. And certainly most of what Via Bella does is original songs that that Aaron and I write. But this idea kind of happened to us often when we're driving or listening to music. A song will come on that we both like, and we'll be singing along, and I'll just start making fun of the lyrics because that's what we do. And so it occurred to me one day we were doing that with Rocket Man. This was the first one that we did this with, and we decided that it would be funny if I performed the song straight, and Aaron kind of made fun of it. And then later it occurred to us that what we're doing is an MST3 cover of the song. And so we've done the live album will have this. and we'll also have our MST3 cover of Toto's Africa.
Okay.
But this is kind of, I guess, the closest I come to doing parody songs.
So yeah, so I love this whole concept, and I don't know that anyone else has done it quite like this. Where
Yeah,
one
I'm not
person is
aware of
singing
it. If it,
somebody
yeah.
else commenting on it.
So
Yeah, it's funny because one of the ones that we do, this will also with Alanis Morissette's "Ironic," and I know that there is a version. There's a video out there called "Actually Ironic," where it kind of does, a very very similar thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the same jokes and everything, except that they're just singing it, like kind of singing it as a parody. Whereas we thought that, again, it gives you, especially if you're doing it live with just an acoustic guitar, we could stop for the audience laugh. I could stop the song if Aaron wants to do a whole paragraph, making fun of something. It really frees it up to go for what's best for the joke as opposed to what's best musically.
yeah, and that's what we did with that. We kind of took the idea and a lot of the jokes that were already there and just kind of expanded them.
Oh, in Ironic, yeah.
Yeah, in Ironic. Yeah.
Yes. So,
But Rocket Man was the first one you did.
Yeah, Rocket Man, was the one that, and certainly the one, probably judging by audience reaction, the most successful, shall we say. After when we did it in Germany, we actually thought we might have to stop the show because someone was like laughing so hard that like they said afterwards that they thought they were going to throw up. Like so which is not something I thought was on my wish list, but yeah, like so we did after we were kind of announcing the next song, talking about the next song, we had to kind of stop and you okay? Because it just seemed, and like I never thought I would make someone laugh that we could do that. So
I've never made someone laugh so hard they threw up, but I think I have a new goal for my stage show. So
in fact, like on the live album, I kind of edited down a bit of that on a track that's called "Retire Undefeated" because I think I said that at way like that's now that this has happened, I could but yeah, certainly with Rocket Man, I mean we love Elton John and Bernie Taupin, but I'm sure part of what makes I think this idea so kind of in the crosshairs for our listeners is that many of these ideas are certainly things that have probably occurred to most people that would like the kind of music that we do as they've listened to these songs, and we're just kind of doing it on stage. So yeah,
I mean, I know a lot of people. Jax has come to view us because join us because he knows I'm on a call and he hates it when I'm on a call.
That's great. It
means I'm not paying attention to him. So this is what happens every time I got a meeting at work. This is what happens. So yeah, so you guys were guest of honor at the convention in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was Intermezzo was the name of the convention, and we were guest of honor there, and it was remarkable. It was such a good show, such an amazing audience. I don't think I could say I've never been appreciated as much as we were by these German fans. They were just so present, and the applause breaks were outrageous. It was we were not. We had been told, but we were still not prepared.
Was it a primarily English-speaking convention, or was it mostly German?
I mean, turns out that most Germans can speak English.
Oh, okay.
Like I would say, the majority of the people there, German was their first language, but I didn't really encounter anyone that I couldn't have a conversation with in English.
No.
A couple of people did tell me, which this wasn't news to me, that I talk very fast. And so,
no, not at all. Not you.
Yes.
No.
Sometimes they said I was hard to understand, with the banter sometimes. But
did you find any of the humor got lost in translation?
Yeah, I thought it would, but all the laugh lines got laughs.
Yeah, not really.
So, yeah, it was
the other way. There were obviously a lot of people who performed, songs in German, and we definitely missed those jokes.
Yeah. You guys speak any German?
I took German in high school, so no.
Yeah, I took Spanish in high school. I don't speak a word.
So I can understand a little bit, more so written, or if somebody speaks very, very slowly, I can catch some of it, but not.
There is a song, it's actually one of the bonus tracks on the Live in Germany album, called Going to Germany, that we wrote for, for the con, and did it, early on in the set. But it's, it's basically just like a chorus we wrote about how excited we were to be going to Germany, with that kind of little comedy bits in between each chorus. And one of the bits was about how Erin took German in high school, but still doesn't, she and it was because it was an excuse for her to say phrases in German that she knew the audience would think was funny. Like, I don't know if you got it at your fingertips, but one of them translates to like, where may I sharpen my pencil, or, just things that, be completely useless.
It's Darf ich meine Bleistift spitzen? And that got a big laugh.
So we did kind of, and actually the anecdote that I did say that I would say, given our name, is that like just before, Bella Via is a name that is mispronounced, all over the world, it turns out.
I called you Bellavia for years.
Well, exactly. And that's why I'm certainly not offended by it. It's I've come to expect it. So, but whenever we're introduced on stage, people, like, if they'll say, it's Rand Blavia, and then I correct them afterwards, they're always so embarrassed. And so right before we got on stage, I kind of went to the guy that was going to introduce us and said, just so you know, it's pronounced Bella Via. You know what I mean? And in retrospect, it was ridiculously foolish for me to say that to him right before we went on stage, because he was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Bella Via," and our live album opens with someone saying the name of our band wrong, which I think is really funny. And it's my fault because I put it in his head. So, so just to say, I'm like 0 for 15 with band names. I just like, I
like Ukla the Mock. What's wrong with that one?
Well, it's ungoogleable. Like if we'd have known the internet was coming, we would have named ourselves something that people could spell easily, and when typing into a browser. Actually, the most ungoogleable band in the history of music is the. I don't know if you remember them.
There's one called, I believe it's pronounced Ack, and it's spelled 3 exclamation points, and it's like, what are you doing?
Again, these are all pre-internet bands, though. They didn't think it would. They just figured people would have to find it alphabetically, at Cabbages or whatever. So the Cabbages. In case you wondered how old I was, guys,
I was going to say Cabbages. There's a deep cut
that went out of business in 1986 or whatever.
So tell us about the live album.
We're super excited, first of all, that the Kickstarter went through. It wasn't even down to the wire, so we ended up about 120% funded. So that will happen. I've already been working the last couple of days with our graphic designer, so we already have some of that going. The album, the CD should be out by the end of February. We're hopefully just in time for our next guest of honor appearance, which is at FenCon in Dallas on the weekend of February 23rd. So that's where we're hoping to get it in our hands by. But it is it's going to have 22 tracks, 18 songs, and then 4 kind of short little banter tracks. And I think it's got 4 songs from our studio album, and then the rest of them are all things that there's 2 of those MST3 covers, a bunch of songs that will hopefully be on future studio projects for us.
What's the other MST3 cover on the album?
It's Africa.
Okay.
Yes. And we also, there also is I guess you could call it a cover, although that seems strange. But we perform an Ukla the Mock song, which we released through the FuMP last year, called Bill Cipher. Just because since Ukla isn't really performing these days, I thought it'd be fun to give that, give it a live performance. So that's on there as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A couple of the songs, I guess 3. There are 3 songs that are brand new that we debuted in Germany.
Actually, 4 if you count Going to Germany.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
4. So yeah. And then the song, we have a song called Everything Happens Here, which is on the album, which is a song that we wrote for a forthcoming podcast series that that Arizona State University is doing about the educational impact of Sesame Street. And weirdly enough, Aaron and I were asked to write the theme song. And I should also say that Adam English from Luke with a Mock actually gets a music co-writing credit on that, because we were working on Bill Cipher and I was showing him my notes for Everything Happens Here. And he beat me to the chorus. He was like, how about this for the chorus? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to beat that, Adam. So if you don't already know, Adam is such a gifted writer of melodies. He just, and so often, I was very happy that he made the song much, much better. And so that's that will be on the live album as well.
So the previous album that you guys put out, I remember it was like half comedy, half serious. Is this album more or less the same, or is it more comedy or more serious?
Yeah, I would say this is definitely more comedy, and I don't mean that it's like percentage wise it's probably half comedy, half serious, but I think that the comedy stuff, like on our last album, I wouldn't say I'm not sure I would call any of it really comedy. It was kind of, some of it was light and some of it was serious.
Yeah.
This album, I think there is some stuff on there that, I mean, I don't think I even put anything from the first Via Bella album up on the FuMP, because I felt like, geez, this isn't really funny, and so
no, you didn't. This is your first track.
Yeah. So but I'm there's stuff on this that I think is is funny, and there's, I think probably in March we'll throw up another track, probably a song called "Let's Not Fight About Star Trek." That I like it. Another one of the ones we debuted. That's the one that I guess that's going to be our single, because everyone I've shown that to, they're they seem to point to that one. So, but I thought Rocket Man would be certainly the most the funniest thing to start with.
Awesome.
For the FuMP, so.
Cool. So where can people go to pick up this wonderful new album?
Yes. It will be the CD or the download will both be available on our Bandcamp page, which is, I think, is it viabellaband.bandcamp.com, Aaron? Is that right?
It is. Whoops.
So so it's viabellaband.bandcamp.com. Our first album, The Way of Beauty, is available there now, both on CD and digitally. And and Live in Germany will probably be there. We're hoping as certainly in March. I would say look for it in March. We do have a Patreon as well, where you can get access to a lot of stuff that won't be released otherwise, either demos or we do. Through the Kickstarter campaign, we released a bonus album, which had all the songs that we performed live in Germany that weren't on the album, plus some other things. And I'm sure at least a few of those will find their way to our Patreon page over the next couple of months. And so, including probably we did perform the ironic MST3 cover, and while that won't be on the album, that will probably end up on our Patreon page.
Okay, cool.
At some point. So
great. All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Good to see you again, Tom. And
you too.
Yes.
It's good to see Erin. I almost never get to see her.
It's true. Yeah. And it's good to see our living room, which I'm at work, and but that's what our living room looks like. Yay. So
hang on, let me pin Erin, because it didn't switch to her. There you go. Do that again.
Oh, do it again.
There, lovely living room. Lots of guitars.
Yes.
You can tell a musician was there. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we will catch you guys next time.
All right. Take care.
Great. Thanks.
Bye.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. That segment of the show we do about now. Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback. And we lost Luke, for the record, just so people aren't wondering. Feedback. Alvarant wrote, "Sorry to hear you've been laid off, Devo. I remember a bunch of times when you had to work late into the night or on the weekend for them and they just let you go right after Christmas. You should find something soon. Just try to get remote work. It's worth it. I could be laid off this year too, and working remotely will be a requirement." Yes, working remote work is definitely like high on my priority list. It's definitely I'm not gonna say it's 100% requirement because I don't mind going into the office. I don't mind working in an office. I don't like getting to the office. Like, if the office is around the corner and it's a 2-minute commute, I'm all for it. If it's an hour and a half that way, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. And a couple of YouTube comments.
A-Log! Oh my god, it's you, not again!
A-Log wrote, "Thanks for the shout out and mentioning of the fact that I made an intro, but I could have sworn I left a comment last week. Also surprised you didn't mention that while Yo Sam was number 25 on the Funny 25, it topped my whacked out 40 countdown for 2023, which was in the complimentary congratulatory email I sent you. But still, welcome back to the number 1 club and becoming the 3rd person to be a 2-time champ. Weird Al and Chris Wolvie also hold that distinction." Thank you, A-Log. Yes, and my apologies. I was going to run this down last week during the news, and I forgot to add it to the rundown. So I want to mention that the FuMP had a much better showing on A-Log's countdown than it did on Dr. Demento's countdown. This is a top 40 countdown for the year. So he had at number 40, Cenobite by Jeff Whitmire.
Woo!
Number 38, we had Woke Mind Virus by Lauren Mayer. 31, Pandering to Nerds by Robbie Ellis. 30, I Like Bananas Because They Have No Bones by the New Orleans Steam Cog Orchestra. 29, Party With Your Parents by Knuckleheads. 28, Isn't It Moronic by the Suffolk and Good Players. 27, My One-Eyed Love by Joe J. Thomas. Unhealthy by Insane Ian featuring Twill Distilled. Brush Your Teeth, I was 25. 24 is Brush Your Teeth and Go to Sleep by Knuckleheads. 23 is 4 Letters ADHD by Bonnie Gordon. 21 is Bill Cipher by Ookla the Mock, which they just talked about. 19, Progressive Love Song by the Great Luke Ski. 11, The Vatican Rag by the Great Luke Ski. And number 7, The Ghost and Molly McGee by the Great Luke Ski. And then number 1, Yo Sam by Devo Spice. You can listen to A-Log's show at madmusic.com. Thank you very much, A-Log.
I thought it was pretty awesome that Dr. D played the classic Yosemite Sam song.
That was great.
Just before he played yours.
Yeah. And Tease Chillin wrote, "Devo, failing the inspiration for a Sunday slot song, would being on the bonus material count as appearing on the next compilation?" Maybe. I mean, I guess it depends on how you want to count appearances on compilations, because yeah, that's, I mean, I'm definitely going to be on the bonus material. I'm sure, because I'll probably be the one interviewing somebody. So, but we'll see. All right, that is it for feedback.
Did I miss any feedback that was directed at me?
No.
Okay.
You did miss A-Log's intro sound. Let me play that again for you.
Okay.
Oh, you're not going to hear it very well, but anyway.
A-Log! Oh my god, it's you, not again!
There you go. And my bandwidth just dropped to 0, so that'll be fun. All right.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow's song is by Power Salad. And we have a bonus Sunday slot by Steve Goody, because of course we do. And Tuesday's song is by the Great Luke Ski.
Woo! Yeah. I just hopped off during the Bella Via interview so that I could listen to the final mix of the song, and it sounds great. So I will be posting that to the queue as soon as I have the time to.
Awesome.
So, hooray.
All right. I need a playlist topic for Spotify for this week. Any suggestions?
Rocketry.
Rocketry. Rockets. I don't. Well, Werner von Braun. What else is out there? Because Rocket Man, this version of Rocket Man's not up on Spotify yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that. There's a time.
There's a time delay. Yeah.
How about this? Are there any songs? Well, there's at least one I can think of that's probably. I was going to say it's coming up as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I know Epic Rap Battles of History has Key and Peele doing Gandhi versus Martin Luther King Jr. I was just wondering, are there any Martin Luther King Jr. comedy songs? Probably not. Besides that one,
not that I can think of. No. Mike Bolly says Space and Aliens. Works for me. Let's do that.
All right.
Crap, I haven't done an Alien song yet.
Well, get to it. What are you waiting for?
What a slacker. Hell?
You're leading us into a frightening market. All right. Jeff, plug yourself one more time.
Hi, I'm Jeff Whitmire. You can find me at Jeff Whitmire1 on Twitter, Jeff Whitmire47 on YouTube, and jeffwhitmire.bandcamp.com on Bandcamp.
All right, and Via Bella will be at viabellaband.bandcamp.com. And let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski, and look, it's Jeff Whitmire. Woo!
Woo! Good night, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Shout it to random people on the street. And be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say...
Devo Spice, I'm just curious. What do you get when one, in fact, does put it all together?
I don't know.
Oh.